Hi guys! Hello everyone! Welcome! And special shout out to my students in Psych 129 Seminar in Psychometrics second semester 2019-2020. You know very well that this content is made specially for you, so I hope you like it. I know that at the time of posting, you may still be doing your requirements, completing your requirements for your subjects, writing your thesis. So I'm not expecting that you get to see this video anytime soon, but probably you will be seeing this once you have submitted all the requirements and just waiting for the grades to come out and waiting for your clearances. So congratulations are in order, I guess. If you decided that you wanted to see the video while still in the middle of all the chaos of the end of the semester, then good luck. And I have faith that you will be able to see it through to the end and that you will come out of this unscared. So good luck, guys. As I've mentioned on Edmodo, this will be a special session. And this is special because of two reasons. First, from the title alone, you would instantly know that this is something that you don't usually talk about in class. It's not normally included in any of your lectures, especially in college, and probably something that your teachers won't want to let you in on. But I think this could be useful for you, especially if you intend to take the board exam. I personally have taken the Psychometrician licensure exam a few years back, and I can say that the board exam is partly knowledge of the content, which I'm sure you're perfectly capable of preparing for, but it's also partly test-taking skills. So hopefully this video will get to cover some of that. And now, for the second reason, this is actually something that I've been dying to tell you about, and I've been keeping it in for a while now, ever since I got a hold of them. But now I can finally reveal that we will be joined by two lovely young ladies who passed the board exams last year. But before I tell you who they are, I just want to share to you that for several years now, we have this tradition in Psych 129 wherein we invite board passers from the previous batch to share about their stories, about their experiences from the preparations to taking the test itself, to the time that they're just waiting for the results, because for some people that could be nerve-wracking as well, right? And at least for the previous batches, for the previous guests, they were able to share about their tips, about the best practices that worked for them, and help them pass the board exam.
Hindi dapat huwag ka talaga magbabasa. Kasi nga, hindi siya makakatulong sa inyo. Kung ginawa niyo na yung part ninyo for the past 5 months, last minute reviews, wala nang matutulong yun sa inyo It will do you more harm than good. Dapat maging hindi naman kampante, parang trust yourselves enough na you've done whatever you could have done the past 5 months and okay na yun. Huwag nyo nang pilitin yung last minute kasi hindi talaga.
Pero ako, hindi ko sinasabing gawin yun to. Dahil nga nagtatrabaho ako, hindi ako nakatapos kahit isang libro. So para lang maisip nila na parang, shocks nila ako ba? Hindi, parang mass reading lang ang tawag doon kung tatapusin nyo lang yung libro. Kailangan yung i-analyze at isa-isip at isa-puso kung anong talagang laman ng libro. That is why yung second ko is love the basic.
Hopefully, our guests for today will be able to tell you about their own tips as well. Okay? So, without further ado, our first guest for today is someone who just won the PAP Junior Affiliates Best Thesis Award along with her groupmate Megan Banyes for their thesis entitled mapanlikhaing pagbubulay-bulay, narratives of selected Filipino adolescents on experiences of visual art journaling. And of course, you know by now that this is none other than, drumroll, your Ate Jenny, Jenny Ferrer.
Hello, seniors. I hope that you're doing well, if that's at all possible under these conditions. But yun nga, I hope you're well physically, emotionally, and mentally. I've been making different versions of this video for months now, and finally binigyan ako ng deadline ni Miss Rach, so I figured, let's just roll with it. I want to give you tips on how to pass the board exam. So let's just give a brief background. When I was about to graduate, I had no interest in taking the boards whatsoever. Talagang wala. I was so sure that I wasn't gonna take it. But everyone else was so sure na they were gonna take it. They enrolled in review centers early on. But then one day, after graduation, I think it was late June, I saw a photo of Janine studying at 5 a.m. and I figured, hey, lagi din naman akong gising na madaling araw, so why not be productive? I should take the board exam then. So I took the so I decided to take the board exam ngayon. And when I started studying, I started with assessment. That's my favorite subject kasi, and I would say that's really my strength. I don't know, for some reason. I would suggest that you also start with assessment. The recommended book for assessment, as mentioned by Janine in her video, is the one by Cohen. People also use the one by Kaplan and Sakuso because apparently they find it easier to grasp. Pero kasi I would say na lang na, just challenge yourselves. Hindi naman kasi siya, it's not as deep. I don't think it's that deep, yung book ni Cohen. And I really suggest that you do assessment first because the bulk of the question comes from assessment. There's 150 items in the board exams that come from assessment. So, and also, sa review center, parang napansin ko, people have a hard time with assessment eh. So, it's better to just get that out of the way. And then, sundan nyo na lang ng favorite subject nyo, just to boost your morale. So, if mostly it's TOP, so if that's your thing, yeah, siguro start na rin with TOP. That's how I did it. I started with assessment and then I followed it up with TOP. And then AbPsych, and then last ko na yung IO. That really worked for me kasi parang it also made logical sense kasi parang nare-reinforce yung yung mga previous subjects as you go along. So, doon naman sa medyo mas abstract na concept in preparing for the psychometrician exam, I would say to stick to a goal. Kasi when I was preparing for it, I figured, sabi ko, ano kaya gawin kong goal maging top-notcher? Ano bang grades na top-notcher? So, tinignan ko, and nakita ko na parang the previous year, yung grades nila parang 84, 83, 82. Parang nasa top 4 ka na noon, top 3. So, sabi ko, I'm gonna make that my goal. Na-achieve ko naman, kaya lang, tumaas yung grades last year. Sobrang taas ng grades last year. Maybe easier exams or maybe mas prepared lang yung mga nag-exams. Yung grades na na-achieve ko, parang it's a point short from the top 10. So, if you're gonna make a goal, make it specific. And also, towards the end kasi, sabi sa akin ng friend ko, I also didn't tell anyone that I was gonna take the board exams. Parang, I did tell 3 people. And sabi sa akin ng friend ko, you know what kasi, when I pray, I leave it up to God na, so I'm prepared na kung ano man maging result. So, parang naging ganun din yung mindset ko. Despite being super type A during the entire preparation. Nung towards the end, sabi ko, nga no, if I'm praying nga, bakit ba ako anxious? you know what, that's wrong. I don't recommend that. Kasi parang medyo naging lax ako nung exam day, parang minadali ko na siya. Sabi ko, God's got me. Pero yun nga, if you have a goal, stick to it. Yun lang. So another thing is find the schedule that works for you. Huwag kayong ma-pressure if you see people waking up at 5 a.m. and then finishing their review at 8 p.m. Personally, I really work for mga lang, maximum of 6 hours. Yun lang talaga every day. And impossible talaga for me to work during daytime. So, hindi ko na lang pinilit. And also, my primary care doctors advised me na din na just study at midnight kasi parang our brains are most active at 3 a.m. hanggang mag-umaga. So, that's perfect for me kasi talagang my brain starts functioning lang at 1 a.m. So, I would start studying at 1 a.m. Tatapos ako mga 7 a.m., ganyan, 5 a.m. And then sometimes naman, pag hindi ako nagigising, I would study at 3 hanggang 8 a.m., ganyan. Siguro, pinaka-normal ko na yung makapag-aral ako ng I would start at 8 a.m. hanggang 11 a.m. That's it lang. So yun, find a schedule that works for you. If it's hapon, if it's morning, alam nyo naman na yan from your college years kung ano yung nag-work sa inyo for college years. Huwag naman yung cramming. Pero yun nga, if meron na kayong set schedule, stick to that. Kasi at least you know na parang wala nang added anxiety na, oh, I have to be up at this time, I have to be like them, I have to be doing what they're doing. Wala nang ganon. So, it's up to you. Another question that I get asked a lot is if kailangan mag-review center. Alam nyo, I used to find it distasteful when people would say na hindi naman nakatulong sa kanila yung review center, but I get what they say. Pero yun nga, just recently, nakausap ko si Janine and she told me na parang the review center helped her kasi parang ganun yung learning style niya. I hope that she doesn't mind that I'm sharing. Di sino nagpaalam. Oh my God, sorry Janine. Pero yun nga, parang kasi it helps her. Kasi ganun yung learning style niya. She learns by listening or siguro pag may nakikita siya ganun. Ako kasi I learn also by listening pero by reading din talaga. So, and I would suggest na kahit mag-review center ka o hindi, just read the books. I suggest you read the books, cover to cover talaga. Sa review center nga, so yun, hindi siya masyado honestly, the thing with review center kasi is that it helps with overlearning. Huwag naman kayong ma-pressure na yung parang kailangan mong magpunta sa review center everyday. Pupunta ako sa review center dati, lagi pa akong late kasi nag-OOTD pa ako. #priorities. So, yun nga, hindi naman siya, don't feel bad if you don't have the time to enroll or if you don't have the money to enroll in a review center. Kasi parang, it really just helps synthesize. And yun nga lang, it really just helps with overlearning, which is something that you can do naman on your own. So, yun lang. Pero overall, it really helps naman talaga. So, if you have the luxury to do so, go ahead. So third would be, actually this is the fourth tip, would be write everything down. So if you're gonna read all the books, ito na, I'm gonna give you all the books. So for AbPsych, I use the book of Barlow and Durand. Some people use yung by Butcher. I know the top-notcher from 2017 use yung kay Butcher. And sabi niya informative naman daw, and I guess informative nga kasi nag-top-notch siya. And yun, write everything down. I'm not saying na you write everything na including yung definitions. Don't do that. Write all the terms lang and try to define them in your head. All the terms that you would encounter and then define them in your head. Especially if yung terms medyo interchangeable or related sila sa isa't isa, try to map it out in your head. Kasi parang that's only the time na alam mo na you understand it na kasi you can make sense of it na in your head. Yun lang. For TOP, I used the book by Vice and Vice. Sobrang easy read. Sobrang easy reading nito. Although may mga kulang na theories na lumalabas pa daw. I'm not sure if lumabas pa sila sa amin. Pero yun nga, wala sila Ainsworth and all that. You can read that. Oh my gosh. You can read that from Schultz, the book of Schultz. But also, if you can, there's this book from a review center from Pathways International na sobrang, it's the condensed version of Schultz and Vice. Sobrang helpful nun. So, you don't have to read both books na. Kompleto na siya doon. Nandun na lahat yung theories. Nandun na lahat yung condensed version of their theories. Tapos parang compare and contrast na also the criticisms on the theories. Nandun na. So, if you can get your hands in that. Also, sorry, scatterbrain. Going back, I went to RGO. I went to RGO Review Center. And I think RGO pa rin naman yung leading until now. Marami silang na-produce na top-notchers. Most of the takers na I know na nagpunta sa RGO, pass talaga. So, I guess it's saying, I went to RGO. Yun. Sorry. Going back. For IO, I used the Book of Amot. Every year, yan yung sinasuggest nila because they say nga na everything naman daw comes from Amot. I beg to differ kasi parang it's different talaga during our time yung IO. That was my lowest and strength ko din yan sa school. When I was still studying, dyan din ako talaga nag-excel sa IO. Pero sa board exam, parang ang grade ko dyan, that was my lowest, 80. Feeling ko hindi siya galing kay Amot. I think the reason why I was able to answer the questions was because I encountered those terms when I was still with Doc Aguila under Doc Aguila for HR. Yung Strategic Human Resources na SHRM na book natin from college, talagang all the terms na encounter ko doon, helpful siya. So, if you can browse, kahit yung glossary lang, or for assessment, I use Cohen. Some people use Kaplan and Sakuso. I would suggest na stick to a main reference. Stick to one reference. Siguro if you're gonna use. Also, another important factor, maraming questions from Psychopil. Lagi daw yon every year. So, I suggest you download that PDF by Pepua and Marcelino. So, yun. Psychopil is important. Read. The questions were mostly situational. Parang you have to think the way they think. So, one thing, and for you to do that, you have to really understand yung text. You really have to understand and also the context of the problems that they're giving you. Hindi naman kayo ma-demoralize na parang sasabihin nyo, puro situational naman pala, ba't pa ako mag-aaral? Here's the thing, kasi every time na may mag-pop up na objective question, it's easy for you kasi nga na-overlearn mo na siya and really nag-prepare ka, nabasa mo siya. And I think that was the case for me. Parang talagang yung objective question sobrang dali na nila because nga na-overlearn ko sila sa review center and nabasa ko sila multiple times. And nasulat ko sila multiple times. Also, if you see photos of people, filling their rooms with Manila paper, wala akong regret na, hindi ko naaral. So, yun, better to over-prepare. So, if you think that might help you, kasi that might help you, there are days na, syempre, hindi mo naman gustong mag-aral every single day of your life. Kung may mga days na ayaw mo mag-aral, so that might help yung may mga Manila paper at may cartolina ka sa room. Pero if you think na that's just gonna add some anxiety to you, wag na lang. Just do whatever works for you. But whatever you do, my only suggestion is that you read the entire book and you write down all the terms and you try to define them in your head. That's ultimately what's gonna help. That's ultimately the thing that helps everyone else. should you not work during should you not work during your review? Meron kasi akong friends na nahirapan. I wasn't working full time when I was reviewing. Mga ginagawa ko puro freelance work lang, and it was purely up to me kung gusto ko silang gawin. And meron din kasi akong friends na parang they had to eventually drop out of the review center, and hindi na sila nag-pursue kasi nahirapan sila. Pero I think doable naman siya. And meron din mga taong nasa a top-notcher from UST, galing na, nasa med school na siya when she was reviewing. So, pinagsabay niya, and nagawa naman niya. So, I think you can do it. I know your batch, very masipag naman kayo, and you're all very smart. Uy, pero yun nga, I think you can do it. It really depends. So, assess yourself also, and if you have the luxury to do it, if you have the luxury to not work full-time, do so na lang kasi para treat it as your break na rin from college. So, yun. I really hope that you do well. You pray a lot if you believe in God. If you don't, meditate. If that doesn't work for you, do whatever works for you. But, find time to just be still also. Huwag kayong sobrang anxious. Here's something that I can guarantee, yung anxiety nyo during your review season would not be proportionate to the anxiety you need to get through the board exams. Hindi siya ganun kahirap. Ang yabang, hindi, pero hindi talaga. It's really mostly situational, so it really would just require you to think. And I know that you can do that.
Alright, thank you so much, Jenny, and thank you for sharing your experiences. These are really helpful tips for our test takers this year. But now I just want to do a quick recap of what Jenny mentioned in her video. And if I may add to them, I will just go through each one of her points as was presented in the video. First is to plan the sequence of the subjects that you intend to study. For Jenny, what worked for her is to start with the subject that she felt most confident in. And I guess this makes sense if you want not to be stuck in a particular subject at the beginning of the review. And if you want to feel good about yourself, to become motivated to continue reviewing. But for me, personally, what worked for me is the other way around. I started with a subject that I felt or I thought I knew nothing about, so that I would have more time to go through the material. And I chose to study the subject that I thought I knew a lot about, which was IO Psych at the time, because I just finished a back subject on IO Psych just before the licensure exam. So I thought that if I did not have enough time to review it the second time around, I still have stock knowledge that I can use. Yan. So it really differs from person to person. The second point that Jenny raised is to set a specific goal and stick to it. So if you want to top the board exam, aim for that, try to study for that, and do not lose that goal. Yeah. The third point that Jenny mentioned is to find a schedule that works for you. For some people, what works for them is to study early in the morning. For some, what works is studying at night. But it really differs from person to person, even their learning styles. So, yeah, find a schedule that works the best for you. Fourth is a question. Her fourth point is a frequently asked question by prospective test takers, which is to review center or not to review center. My take on that is that it's a really difficult question to be answered with a categorical yes or no, because it depends on a lot of factors. For some people, they find review centers is helpful in structuring their day, their review, but for others who would rather have a more self-paced review, then probably review centers are not for them. Jenny's fifth tip is to read everything from cover to cover and write down everything. In relation to that, I always say that you have to read the material at least twice. Why twice? First reading is for breadth, so you make sure that you have covered everything. But the second reading is for depth, to make sure that you understood everything. And Jenny's sixth point is another frequently asked question: to work or not to work while reviewing. Again, it's a tricky question that only you can answer because it differs from person to person what they are capable of doing and not capable of doing. For some, they know that they will be able to review even if they need to work full-time or part-time. They can manage the time. But for others who feel like they would need more time to review, then probably working is not an option. Right. I was working during the time that I reviewed for my board exam. It was a full-time job, so every after my 8 to 5, I go to a coffee shop to study until nighttime. So, and then of course on weekends, I also do my reviews. But it worked. I passed the boards, and I'm here. Now, let's hear what our second guest would have to say. Our next guest is someone that you probably miss from our Psych Guild activities for her funny and lively hosting. She was Psychology Guild's secretary last year, and now she is an MA Developmental Psychology student and the external vice president of MC Kasai. This is none other than, drumroll please, Janine Del Mundo.
Hello, kamusta? Okay lang ako dito sa Dubai. Char. Anyway, sabi mag-share daw kami ng tips and tricks for BLEPP, Board Licensure Examination for Psychometrician. Ang kaya ko lang i-share ay tricks. Joke. Anyway, we want this to be short, but still informative. Hindi rin ako mag-i-English. Ayan, so simulan na natin. So last year, nag-exam kami, scheduled siya ng October 27 and 28. Nagsimula akong mag-aral August. Aral ng totoo. Ayan. So I had more than 2 months to prepare for the exam. And kung titignan natin yung situation natin ngayon, between this present time and sa July, which is yung schedule ng BLEPP for this year, we have more months to prepare for the test. If yun ang isipin, if BLEPP lang. Pero syempre, may mga ginagawa pa rin tayong requirements. Pero, I hope that we can help you. Syempre, magkakaroon lang tayo ng mga idea o ano ko ba sisimulan, ano ko ba titignan yung BLEPP, ganun. Kahit idea lang, ganyan. Ayun. And gusto ko sabihin sa inyo na pag nagsimula tayong mag-aral, para kang bibigyan ng isang malaking batong information. Ikaw na bahala dun kung paano mo i-digest, paano sisimulan, paano mo hati-hatiin, ganoon. Kasi, pag nagsimula tayong mag-aral, syempre titignan mo, ilang subjects ba? 4. Sa 4 na yun, ilang topics ba nandun? 20 plus? O higit pa? So, ang dami. So, parang isang buong information na alam kailangan mong kainin. Ganyan. So, parang isang buong cake, hindi mo alam. At depende sa atin kung unahin ba natin yung toppings, didilaan ba natin yung icing sa gilid, o hatiin ba natin sa gitna, yung cake, ganun. So, yun yung gusto kong i-share sa inyo. kung ano yung naging effective sa akin na pag-tackle sa pag-aaral dun sa board subjects. Hindi man ako mag-English ngayon, pero share ako sa inyo ng screen. Ito yung screen ko, pero ano lang siya, simple lang siya. Para magkasunuran lang tayo. Okay, so for TOP, ayan. Alam nyo ba na nung undergrad, muntik na akong ma-F at ma-FA kasi hindi ako pumapasok. So si Freud, parang na-appreciate ko lang siya mga last year June, ganon, seryoso. Pero ngayon, personal favorite ko na yung Theories of Personality. Ayan. So for TOP, tignan natin siya as one whole puzzle. And yung theories ay pieces lang niya. Kasi no one theory can explain everything about human being. So for example, nakita natin yung sinating kaklase, nagnakaw ng 500 pesos sa teacher natin. Pwede kong isipin na, ayan, rooted yan from her childhood. Ayan, learned behavior na yan. Ikaw, pwede mong isipin na, for the day lang yan. Kasi wala siyang makain ngayon, nakalimutan yung wallet niya sa bahay, parang totoo mayaman siya. Pwede mong isipin na gano'n. Ngayon, same din sa theories. Para silang iba't ibang lens kung paano natin titignan yung nature ng tao, yung nature ng humans. Kaya, doon makakatulong yung pag-aaral sa mga theorists sa buhay nila. Kasi, syempre, kung paano sila lumaki, kung paano nila tignan yung buhay, mag-reflect yun sa theory na ginawa nila. Ganoon nila tignan yung sarili nila and yung ibang tao. Ganoon. Magiging edge sa atin na tignan yung similarities, yung nung theories. Kasi sa tingin ko, hindi advisable yung questions na, okay, ano ba yung aaralin ko sa TOP? Yung most used theory ba o yung least used? Yung mga ganun tanong, feeling ko hindi siya advised na tanungin natin. Ang pwedeng tanong dyan ay ano yung pagkakaparehas nila at ano yung pagkakaiba nila na pagtingin sa human beings. So again, ang magiging edge natin dyan, ano yung similarities nila? So, pwede niyong aralin kung itong theory na to, paano niyo ba i-define kung paano maging whole person? Pwedeng iba sila or pwedeng different sila sa isang theory na ganito naman niya i-define kung paano maging whole person. Mga ganong bagay. Ayan. Next naman, psychological assessment. Sa time namin, puro ethics. And kaya ko in-specify dito yung TAT Code of Ethics kasi merong APA Code of Ethics. At pag nagsimula tayong mag-aral for BLEPP, sure ako, aligaga tayo na, okay, kukunin ko lahat ng files na pwede kong makita at hindi ko magiging helpful sa akin. Nung time namin, nag-download ako ng Labor Code, Mental Health Act, iba pang mga files na feeling ko makakatulong sa akin. So, ini-specify ko dito na basahin natin yung PAP Code of Ethics para syempre local. Ayan. And sa time namin, wala masyadong numbers. Kasi nga puro ethics. Pero syempre, we want to be prepared. Malay nyo, magkaroon ng numbers, ganun, normal curve, ganyan pati yung values. Pero I want to suggest na we see the values as representation. So, para siyang dough sa bread na itong dough na to, pwede mo siyang ganyan-ganyanin at i-transform mo siya to Z-score, then ganyan-ganyan mo ulit. Pwede mo siyang i-transform sa T-score, mga ganong bagay para hindi tayo malulula na puro numbers. Pero we only see them as representations. Standard deviation, distance yun, mga ganong bagay. So, para mas mapadali, at hindi lang natin siya makita as numbers. Ayan. Also, familiarize yourselves with different tests. Personality, intelligence test. Makita naman lahat yun sa libro. Organizational Industrial Psychology. Dalawa kasi yan. Yung isa, company management. Yan yung mga facets, yung mga recruitment, benefits and compensation, mga ganun, performance appraisal. Doon yun sa organizational psychology. Ngayon, bakit ko siya sinasabi? Kasi, as we continue reading, parang minsan malulula ka na ang dami niya. Kasi nga, isang buong cake siya. Pero, since gusto natin maging effective yung study habits natin, we will try na i-group yung mga information na alam natin. Kasi, yung personal management, dyan naman yung mga theories for employees naman, management. Ano yan? Mga motivation theories. Ayun. Next, for abnormal psychology, importante na alam natin yung defining features para dun sa mga disorder. So, example, skin picking. Siyempre, babasahin mo yung buong tanong, titignan mo yung mga details, ganyan. Ang skin picking kasi, pwede siyang mag-fall under OCD. Pero, di ba meron ding skin picking na disorder talaga, which is yung excoriation. Saan sila magkakaiba? Sa motive, intention ng tao. Sa OCD, nagagawa niya yung skin picking dahil may obsessions or uncontrollable thoughts. Now, for skin picking, based sa research, ang basis niya ay boredom. Boredom. And one defining feature ng excoriation ay fresh yung mga sugat. Yung mga ganung bagay. Ngayon, di ba, nasabi natin kanina na kasi ipapakita ko itong mga mga main references. Makakatulong na kapag binasa natin itong lahat, may foundation na tayo. Pero if you will choose to have supplementary na videos, information, doon natin siya further mo siya solidify na ito pala yung pagkakaiba nila. Ganon. And ang topics na need talaga ma-define at ma-differentiate from each other ay yung mga personality disorders. Pero, makikita mo rin yung kaibahan ng mga disorders sa age ng occurrence, ganun. Kasi, sa DSM, di ba, nilagay na yung mga developmental disabilities. Ayun, para for lang yun, children. Sabihin, nag-form yung ganitong disorders at this time, sa pagkabata nila. Autism, ADHD, ganoon. So, pwede. And, ibang disorders naman, like PD, later on in life na yan. So, ayun, motive ng tao, kung ba't nagagawa yung behavior, age, makikita niyo rin sa tanong kung gano'n namin katagal, ganyan, di ba, sa disorders for including trauma, di ba, may time dun na, may part dun na ang mag-define sa disorder ay kung gano'n nakatagal. Kung acute na ba or PTSD na, ganyung mga bagay. So, ito yung mga main references. And I suggest na hindi lang kasi ito yung mga libro for the board subjects. I suggest na you only choose one. And ito yung mga suggested. Pati sa mga reviewers, kasi malay nyo, maghanap tayo ng reviewers online. Marami kayong makikita niyan. Pero humanap ka lang din ng isa lang na babasahin mo. Aside from this. Ganon. Ang ginawa ko, nagbasa ako ng libro, then sinulat ko lang. So, ano yung reference ko? Ito lang. And then, yung sinulat ko lang. Kasi, nag-review center din ako. Hindi ko na talaga nagamit yung libro from review center. Kasi same lang din ito. Yung pakikinig ko sa review center, nisynthesize niya lang yung mga nabasa ko at nasolidify niya lang din yung mga concepts. So, ayun. Yun lang naman. Sana maikli lang to. Titingnan ko kung maikli lang. Send ko na kay Miss Faith. Ingat and stay indoors. Okay. Kaya na yan. Kaya natin to. Bye-bye.
Okay. Now, I just want to add some more tips to what was mentioned already by Janine and Jenny. I know that the exam was supposed to happen this July, but until now we don't have any news yet if it will be pushing through. For me personally, I think there's a high chance that it won't push through this July, maybe towards the end of the year. in its original date, which is on October. We're not sure yet. I'm just guessing. But this could be either bad news or good news for you, depending on where you are at now in your review process. No, for some of you who have already started reviewing and would like for it to be over and done, this could be a bad news because it's like prolonging the agony. But for those who would like more time to prepare for it, then it could be good news for us so that you still have more time to prepare. Yan. But before the exam day, there are so many things that you have to think about. And first of these would be the requirements, the documents that you need to submit. And of course, as of now, because we're still in quarantine, there's not a lot of opportunities for us to really work on the requirements and the documents that you need. But probably once the quarantine has been lifted, or later on, you will get the chance to process the documents. There will be guidelines for sure that will be posted, and you just have to follow them to a T so you won't have any problems. But just make sure that you have all the subjects, you have taken them already and completed the subjects, you have a grade for them, and I'm sure you already have those subjects, so that won't be a problem for you. Also, before the day of the exam, other things to remember would be: it's always best to create your own review materials because only you know what you need and how you intend to use your self-prepared reviewers. To assess how much you have learned, quiz yourself after every topic covered. For some people, reviewing with friends could help, especially if they have already reviewed the material by themselves. Close your books and keep your reviewers the night before the exam and just relax. Make sure all your test materials and documents are ready and packed, and hit the bed early so you can have a good night's sleep. One thing that anxious people do is cram. Up to the very last minute, up to the time that they're about to enter the testing venue, they would still try to study. But my take on that is to forget it altogether. At night, try getting enough sleep and do not try to study anymore because nothing will be absorbed anyway. I am very anxious. I'm a very anxious person. And the night before my licensure exam, I was still trying to read up on theories of personality and remember terms and people. But I couldn't get anything in anymore. I was just being more and more anxious of whether I would wake up on time the following day. So just avoid all those unnecessary thoughts and just try to calm down and chill and relax the night before, get enough sleep, and be ready for the following day. Wake up early and make sure you have enough time to prepare because you don't want to be panicking in the morning. Stock up on energy by eating a full and hearty breakfast. You may bring your own baon because you may eat inside the testing room, but make sure that it doesn't smell nor it makes a loud sound when you bite into it. Be at the venue early or, if possible, visit the site days before the exam to become familiar with the venue. For a boost of confidence, read your messages from friends and loved ones who wish you well. But never browse your social media. And why do I say this? This is my personal tip, and I cannot stress this enough. You have to be laser focused on the exam, and you should not give anything or anyone an opportunity to distract you from the test that you are taking. Okay? And when you browse through your social media, when you check your notifications, when you look at what other people have posted about the board exam on Twitter, then who knows what you will stumble upon? Who knows what kind of tweets you will see? And probably some of these tweets are not really that helpful for you, or it could make you feel more anxious. Or when you go to your Facebook account, you would see negative news that doesn't do anything to make you feel more positive. No? So avoid looking at social media in the morning of your exam, or even during lunch break before the second exam of the day. You can check your messages from friends, because of course there will be well-wishers. You can post the night before about asking for prayers, or your general feeling about the exam, but do not anymore try to find out how others are feeling about it, because for some people, if they see that other people are confident about the exam and they are not, then it makes them feel more nervous, diba? So those kinds of things, just keep your attention and your focus on the exam. As you enter the building, work your way towards the testing room. Don't forget to breathe, stay calm, remain positive, stay in the here and now, but don't lose sight of your goal. Visualize the end in mind. Pay close attention to the verbal instructions. Now inside the testing room, there will be plenty of you. There will be a lot of test takers. But, well, it depends on which room you'll be assigned to. But in my case, I was assigned to a really big hall, and we're probably about more than 200. And that's also the reason why I was saying that probably the test won't push through in July, because there's no way that you won't get infected in that room if someone out there is an asymptomatic carrier. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, I was saying, there are so many test takers that it required so many proctors as well, because they were assigned to only a couple of columns at a time. So it could be really confusing to be hearing so many instructions all at the same time. So just focus on your own proctor and ignore all the other noises on the periphery. Yeah, so that you know what you're about to do or what you're supposed to do. And also, pay close attention to the instructions so you don't get lost. Read the test directions thoroughly and with careful understanding. Before you start, scan the whole test for misprints or missing pages so you can ask the proctor should there be any. Always keep your answer sheet neat, especially since this will be machine scored. Once you have scanned the whole test, budget your time with a plan to finish early. Now, what happens after the exam? For me, it's in stages. After I finished the first subject, I had so many feelings. And I was really mad after the first subject that I had to message my friends who will be taking the psychologist licensure exam in a few days. So I was like their ally. I was the first one to go through it and give them feedback about my experience. You have to understand the context of that time, because that was, I think, the third iteration of the licensure exam. So we're the third batch, and we did not know a lot of people who took the test before. We did not know a lot of things about the exam itself. We only know that it's going to be outcomes based or applications, but that's it. Okay, so probably that feeling of anger was coming from me expecting that the things that I studied would appear in the exam, but it did not appear. You know what I mean? I am sure you experienced that at some point in your student life. But yeah, I had so many feelings after the first subject, and then after the first day, I was still feeling that anger at the end of the day, that I had to go out with a friend and process my feelings about it, so that the following day when I take the third and fourth tests for the third and fourth subjects, I would have a clearer mind. So probably it would help also if you could have someone to talk to after the first and second subjects are done, so that you can just unload about your experience to someone. But I did not choose to go back to the items that I thought I missed, because there won't be any point in doing so, because the test has already been submitted. So there is no point in dwelling on my mistakes, you know. So yeah, but after the whole thing was done, we waited till the date of release of the results, but it wasn't released on that day as far as I can remember. And so everyone is like very anxious already and did not know what to do anymore. But at some point I realized that again, there's no point in obsessing over the outcome, and whatever the outcome is, it is what it is. So I just took a night run. So in the middle of my run around the UP Academic Oval, I received notifications from friends that the result is already out. So I had to stop in the middle of my run and look for my name in that list of board passers. And thankfully I passed. So I continued running until I finished my route. Yeah, but it's that moment from the last day of exams to the release of the results could be nerve-wracking and would make you think of all the possible scenarios where you did wrong, if you answered the questions correctly or not. So, but probably what could help is to let go or detach from that outcome, because whatever the outcome is, probably when you submitted your paper, it was already done. There's nothing else that can be done. Now, seriously speaking, not everyone will pass the board exam. And I'm not telling you this to scare you. It's just the reality. You can't give everyone licenses to practice, right? Those that you expected to pass may not pass. And it's that predictable to some extent, because there are so many factors that are beyond our control. But one thing that you can control is your preparation for the exam itself. And that's why we have this session, we have the seminar in psychometrics class to help you become prepared for the exam. And at some point before you even apply to take the board exam, I think that would be the best time to do a self-check or a self-evaluation on how ready you are to take the test. And why is there a need to be sure that you are ready, not just in terms of how much you have learned, but also psychologically? Real talk. This is one of the strongest opinions that I have about anything. So it matters a lot to me. And I take this very seriously because it's my profession. If you want to take the board exam just because, and pass it, just because you want to append those 3 letters at the end of your name, then forget about it. If you're seeing the board exam and passing the board exam as bragging rights, then forget about it. Don't take the board exam. Because the board exam or passing the board exam would serve as license to practice. But are you even gonna practice? You know what I mean? Um, I'm not raining on anyone's parade. If you wish to push through with it, even if you're not yet sure if you want to practice or not, that's fine. If you have in the future some remote plans of using your degree as a backup plan for your major or main plan, that's fine. Okay, but I just want to remind you guys that it's not a one-time thing. Once you get your license, when you pass, you have to renew it every 3 years. And I don't know if you've been told about this, but renewal isn't just paying for your license. It's also you having to prove to the board that you are continuing in your professional development, meaning you're attending seminars, workshops that are centered on the discipline itself. So, yeah. And yes, you still have to pay for the renewal of your membership to PAP. And because of these things, um, having a license is a responsibility. Okay? And it's not just something that you aim to achieve just so you can brag about it, that you passed a really difficult exam. Okay? So, you know that I'm not usually this opinionated about or vocal about my opinions, but this is one thing that I feel so strongly about, so I thought that I could use this opportunity to tell you to be mindful about your intentions for taking the board exam and be sure about this plan. Okay? Yeah. So I hope that you sort of have a more real grasp of the gravity of this path that you're taking, this endeavor that you are intending to take. And for the second part of our discussion, of this session, I will be talking more about actual strategies in test taking. Okay, again, to help you to become prepared for the exam itself. Yeah. Okay. So. Answer questions you know first. Attempt to answer every question. Know the scoring policy. Will you be penalized for guessing? Take questions at face value. Do not read things into them. If a question seems complicated or difficult to understand, put it in your own words or break it down into understandable parts. Learn from the test. Often, the answer to a question is found in another test question. Before you turn over your test materials, go back and check to be sure you answered all the questions. On machine-scored tests, be sure you placed your answers in the right spaces. While it is tempting to change your answers after review, there are only a few reasons for doing so. First, if there is an undisputable reason or evidence for you to say you're incorrect. Second, you misunderstood the question the first time. And third, you found or suddenly recalled the correct answer. Watch out for qualifiers such as usually, none, always, never, among others, and keywords such as except, the best, the least, among others. Before looking at the options, try to answer the question on your own. Then, check the choices. Rely on the power of elimination. Eliminate options that you're sure to be incorrect. Look out for options that encompass the other options, or what we call umbrella options, under which the rest of the other options fall. There will be options that are more familiar than the others. Familiarity do not automatically make it the correct choice. The longer response options may contain clues to the correct response. First is the frequency of occurrence strategy. Look for items that appear in more than one of the choices. Take a look at this example. Freud postulated that there are three parts of the mind. These are the A. Id, ego, and conscience. B. Unconscious, id, and conscious. C. Superego, ego, and brain. Or D. Ego, superego, and id. The answer is, of course, D. These words each appear more than once. Take a look at this example. Freud postulated that there are three parts of the mind. These are the A. Id, ego, and conscience. B. Unconscious, id, and conscious. C. Superego, ego, and brain. Or D. Ego, superego, and id. The answer is, of course, D. These words each appear more than once. Third is the highest and lowest numbers strategy. When numerical options vary greatly, chances are that the best response is in the middle ranges. Eliminate the highest and lowest options. For example, Columbus sailed to the Americas in what century? A. 12th, B. 300 BC, C. 15th, or D. 3rd. You may choose between A and C, which are the closest or most similar responses. Similar choice strategy. Certain questions have answers that are closely related or almost identical, except for one detail. This should be your clue to choose one of the two similar answers. The similar choices cannot both be correct, but either one of them may be the correct answer. For example, a chloroplast contains A. Chlorine, B. Calories, C. Carbon, or D. Chlorophyll. You may choose between A and B because they contain the root chlor as chloroplast. Then there is the opposite choice strategy. In some cases, the best choice is between two very different or opposite choices. For example, the meaning of cognizant is A. Ignorant, B. Aware, C. Insensitive, or D. Remorseful. You may choose between A and B, which are opposite responses. You may find some complex questions in the test. These appear to be difficult but are actually simple to solve once you learn how. Take a look at this example. As a home health aide, you are serving a patient her meal. In which order should the following steps be accomplished? 1. Provide eating utensils. 2. Wash your hands. 3. Dispose of leftovers. 4. Prepare food. 5. Serve food. The choices are A. 4, 2, 1, 4, 3. B. 2, 1, 5, 3, 4. C. 4, 2, 1, 5, 3. Or D. 2, 4, 1, 5, 3. Here comes the strategy. First, find the first step. And then find which options have the first step listed first. Now find the last step. In this example, number 2 is the first step and number 3 is the last step. Of the two options that had number 2 first, which has number 3 as the last? This gives you the answer. You will find that most questions in the board exam are judgment questions. These questions are not difficult, but the choices are. They may all be good choices, and you have to select the best one. The best answer is the one that uses common sense, is the choice that knowledgeable, capable, and experienced individuals agree the answer is, and it best answers the question even though all the other options are valid. Thus, you have to be careful not to let your own opinion or personal experience, which may differ from expert opinions, sway your judgment. Let's see this example. The client tells his therapist that he cannot eat because something is poisoning his food. This statement is an indication of A. Paranoia, B. Delusion of persecution, C. Hallucination, or D. Illusion. The answer here is A. Paranoia. Paranoia is described as extreme suspiciousness of others and their intentions. Delusions of persecution are feeling that others intend harm or persecution. Hallucinations, on the other hand, are false sensory perceptions associated with real external stimuli. And illusions are misperceptions of real external stimuli. Sometimes, you just have to look at how the statements are written. If an alternative does not make a grammatically correct sentence, eliminate it. Let's take a look at this example. The basic purpose of an educational grant is A. You need it to supplement college costs, B. To help the financially needy student, C. To promote college success, or D. Achieving high grades. In this example, only 2 or 3 make a grammatically correct sentence. 3 is incorrect because a grant does not necessarily promote success. So 2 is the correct answer. Sometimes we will find absolutisms in the options. If an absolute such as always, every, never, all, none is present in any of the options, consider the option false. Example: the dropout rate in high schools is on the increase because A. All students are unmotivated, B. Some students are disillusioned with school, C. Students never take high school seriously, or D. Every high school student has emotional problems. In this example, only B is correct since some is not an absolute. Sometimes, the answer to a question is the exception or the most different answer. For example, which of the following would be an example of cognition? A. Driving a car, B. Swimming, C. Hiking, or D. Studying for an exam. The correct answer is D. Studying for an exam because it is the most different answer among the 4. Sometimes, the longer response is the answer. When more time is put into developing a response, it may be the correct one. For example, of the following, this is the most effective therapeutic method for controlling depression. A. Using hypnosis, B. Applying techniques of psychotherapy, C. Combining therapeutic techniques with doctor-prescribed antidepressant medication, or D. Psychoanalysis. The answer is C because it is the longest response. The keyword strategy. Choose a response that has the same or similar word in it as the question. For example, creating a test that is valid or how effective a test is in measuring what it intends to measure is known as A. External validity, B. Content quality, C. Internal reliability, or D. Construct validity. You may use 2 strategies here. First, choose between A and D, which both contain the word validity. And then narrow it down to D because creating implies the same thing as constructing. Therefore, construct validity would be the better choice. So there. Interesting strategies, right? And you can use this not just for the board exam, but for any multiple choice type of test that you may encounter in the future. But just to remind you, we cannot solely rely on these strategies for you to pass. You still have to study. But I just want to tell you that you already know these things. You already know psych assessment, theories of personality, abnormal psych, and IO psych because you have studied that extensively in your major subjects and reviewed that in seminar in psychometrics. So have a little bit of faith in yourself, have a little bit of confidence that all you need to do is to reinforce what you already know and recall what you have stored in your memory. Okay? As a last point, I know all these test talk could make some people anxious or pressured or even confused. So it is important that during this review season, you still find time to take care of your mental health and practice self-care strategies to clear your mind, stay calm and collected. And what could these self-care strategies be? No? What are these self-care strategies that you can practice? Of course, you have your mindful breathing exercises. You can do guided visualization, muscle relaxation techniques, positive self-talk, and of course, part of that would be taking care of your physical health as well. So, eat proper diet. If you can engage in physical activities just to keep the circulation flowing, right? I think those things could help also, no? Instead of just focusing on feeding your cognitive resource, you also have to feed your psychological and spiritual resource. So holistic preparation, no, is always helpful. Okay, so I guess this ends this special presentation. I hope you liked today's video. So I'm gonna see you on my next video, which is about psychological report. Bye guys!